the same band director that had them over at NASCAR performing in front of Confederate flags. Thank you. Thank you for that one. Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and this is Who Raised Y'all, where we highlight those unique individuals going above and beyond to make our society worse. You know, the kinds of people you'll see asking to speak to the manager at the pearly gates.
I want to talk to the manager.
Mississippi Valley State University, come on down. Now let's get into this. A Mississippi HBCU is facing backlash after its band accepted an invitation to perform at President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. Oh look, is that Chrisette Michele?
The singer believed she was building a bridge of peace, but her world collapsed immediately after, and she was dropped from her record label. Not only did the decision cost Chrisette Michele her music career, the singer also claims her family disowned her.
According to WLBT, the Mean Green Marching Band of Mississippi Valley State University accepted the inauguration invite and is trying to raise $350,000 to cover expenses for the trip in January.
Mississippi Valley State University. Y'all okay? Now, if you want to go to the inauguration per invitation and shuck and jive for the man who has single-handedly suppressed your state and took away more rights in the state of Mississippi than pretty much anywhere, that is okay. But I'll be goddamned if we gonna help you do it.
The Mean Green Marching Machine Band of Mississippi Valley State University is seeking funds to travel to Washington, D.C. to participate in the inaugural parade. The band seeks funds to acquire instruments, uniforms, provide scholarships, and other essential resources for its continued development, that according to the GoFundMe launched by the band. Now, according to a press release, the Mean Green Marching Machine became the first HBCU to perform at the Tournament of Roses parade in 1965 and at President Nixon's inauguration. So they have been in these streets before. Mississippi Valley State President Dr. Gerald Briggs said the invitation to perform at Trump's inauguration is a, quote, moment of pride for the entire state. So what you mean to tell me is that you feel like the entire state of Mississippi sees itself in the Mississippi Valley State Marching Band. Well, it sounds like the entire state of Mississippi should be funding that trip. Now shouldn't it? Now, this would be the same, this is the same state where the governor, Tate Reeves, posted the video from Ole Miss where the guy was making monkey sounds and they were calling the woman Lizzo. Is that the same state that we talking about right here? Yeah. They should be able to help y'all out with that. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what kind of invite this is where you pay your own way for the inauguration. I mean, MAGA loves to talk about how much money Donald Trump has. Now, they ignore the ramifications for his class loyalty, but let's put that to the side for the moment. They love talking about how much money he didn't. Is he answering the phone calls, or are y'all on Truth Social? Oh, it looks like we got a sample of that performance. It is an opportunity to showcase our legacy, celebrate our culture, and invest in the future leaders of our community. This participation allows students to engage in the peaceful transition of power and gain global exposure while celebrating the university's 75th anniversary. Now, I'm going to go ahead and ignore the first part of what you said, talking about the peaceful transfer of power, because I know you're not talking about the inauguration for the guy that still ain't accepted the last election in 2020. I know you didn't just put in your statement. So I'm gonna go ahead and imagine that your carrot is the global exposure while celebrating the university's 75th anniversary. Just call a thing that will go much farther than the BS. That is one of the reasons why this backlash looks the way that it does. Like this article from a HBCU alum, the new year looks like one where we all will be stressed by the returning crap storm coming to Washington, especially anyone with a vested interest in the success and well-being of HBCUs. Donald Trump is the single most dangerous threat to our institutions in this lifetime and possibly the next. So imagine my shock and utter disbelief when I learned that Mississippi Valley State's Mean Green Marching Machine is attempting to raise $350,000 to perform in January's Inauguration Day parade. Now let's see where they're at with that GoFundMe. Let's see. They made it $350. They're making good progress though. I can't give them that. When has anything about Trump ever been peaceful? If anyone can answer that, I'll give you $100. I can't answer that, but I can send you over to his Success by Trump fragrance, which even that says fight, fight, fight. So, touche. Before I continue, it's important to note that Mississippi Valley State and all HBCUs within the state are handcuffed by intentional underfunding by the Mississippi government. Now, this can't be the same government that he said was representing and showed so much pride in the Mean Green Marching Machine. No. We can't forget that Pro Football Hall of Famer Brett Favre is still under fire for misappropriating millions of dollars meant for welfare recipients so that Southern Mississippi, his alma mater, could have a new volleyball facility. And by the way, Brett Favre, in the midst of all of that, hasn't seen fit to mind his own business and eat his food. He's still out here tweeting nonsense, so we'll be addressing him soon. Stay tuned. Mississippi Valley is suffering more than most, so it is important to have an opportunity to be seen and draw some interest. However, there comes a time when standing on principles is important. HBCUs are in grave danger, whether they kowtow to Trump and his fascist friends forever crew or not. It's a critical form of resistance that anyone in a marginalized group refuses to normalize a regime that literally wants to take the right of education away from anyone who isn't white. Performing in a parade that would be celebrating a return to Jim Crow is the most ass backwards thing I can think of in a time where just about everything is ass backwards. People have said we're not going back, but now we may have to go back to a time when it was all for one and one for all. Black people, our community, our culture, our existence must band together and stand up to these nefarious nachos by not standing for any foolishness. Mississippi Valley State, you can do better than this. We can all do better than this. Let's not make it easy on Trump by accepting invites from a man and a group of people who don't want to see black people thrive or survive at all. You know what? Why don't we check out some of the reactions to this ask? Let's see, as an HBCU alum, we're not giving our coins for our schools to be played in their faces. Again, we have the same band director that was at Talledega tap dancing for this fool. Why don't he ask Tate Reeves for the money? That's his leader, Mississippi goddamn. Nina Simone. So you mean to tell me this isn't his first foray? He was also at Talledega? Now that would be some good context for this whole thing while we're having these kinds of conversations. This is the same band director that had them over at NASCAR performing in front of Confederate flags. Thank you. Thank you for that one.
Everybody knows about Mississippi. God damn.
Here we have Mississippi Valley State University has a proud history of standing up for Black history, equity, and justice. However, accepting an invitation to perform at Donald Trump's inauguration on Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a disgraceful betrayal of that legacy. Trump and his administration have worked tirelessly to erase Black history from classrooms, directly opposing the very fight MVSU students took on in 1964 when they boycotted for courses in Black history and access to work by Black authors. It is shameful for the university's leadership to celebrate this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity instead of recognizing it as an affront to the cultural and historical values of an HBCU. Rather than aligning with a president that's proven his racism through words and policies that harm Black communities, MVSU should prioritize efforts like renaming campus buildings that honor white supremacists such as Walter Sillars Jr., Fielding Wright, and J.H. White. The decision not only insults the memory of Dr. King, but undermines the very mission of HBCUs to uplift and empower Black excellence. Thank you for that, Bishop Talbot Swan. Also, good context. So not only have they already done Talledega, they got the white supremacist names on the buildings. Okay, that is good. You are painting a picture for me right here.
Please help me figure out why any HBCU would ever apply, let alone perform at the upcoming Trump inauguration. I'm not sure what's going on in Mississippi, but I don't know if they've caught the memo that this man wants to dismantle the Board of Education. Literally the thing that has made it possible for us to get somewhat of equal education, let alone him trying to dismantle HBCUs and DEI as a whole, across all sectors and systems that we work. Contrary to popular belief, HBCUs don't just have African Americans, Black people running around there. I went to school with different people from all different walks of life, different shades, different hues, different colors, different religions. Name it all you want. There were not just brown people walking around there. And then to have the nerve to ask us to pay for y'all to go perform. Now, didn't your mama ever tell you if you don't have McDonald's money, you can go to McDonald's? Would a slug take itself to a salt factory? I don't know what leadership thought this was okay, but they're gonna be the Chrisette Michelle of HBCUs.
Never mind as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's holiday weekend to commemorate his birthday. Never mind that orange menace Mussolini is doing everything he can to dismantle the Department of Education, to dismantle diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, to dismantle Black and brown scholarship programs, and to dismantle funding for HBCUs, which you are one of. Now, I love Black children, I love Black people, I love my HBCUs, but y'all are really gonna go perform on Dr. King weekend for that orange menace at the 60th inauguration parade? Really? That's what we doing?
Now, that's what I found to be pretty interesting.
Unfortunately, that man is going to be the president of the United States. And I think something that's important is being able to separate the office of the president of the United States from the office holder. Donald Trump is going to be the president of the United States. But something to keep in mind is that the president of the United States as the office is the top position in the country and arguably in the free world. So there's quite a bit of controversy going on Twitter right now about a HBCU band that's raising money to be able to go perform in the inauguration parade. Something that we have to remember is some organizations aren't partisan. So it doesn't matter who's the president of the United States. They're participating because this is the highest office in the country or in the land. For example, your favorite sports team, they get invited to the White House after winning the Super Bowl, the national championship, or any of those things. Those things happen regardless, no matter who's the president or who's holding the office. HBCU bands and HBCUs are participating in events going on at the White House despite who's been the president for many years now. This isn't anything new. I don't think it's necessarily anything to be outraged about.
Now, a couple things to note here. He mentioned sports teams being invited to the White House. This is very different than that, because obviously if you win a championship, the idea is that you will then be invited to the White House. That is kind of pro forma. Whereas, how many different marching bands are there? How many different musicians are there? This is not like an automatic thing that happens. And if you, in fact, weren't to apply for something like this or weren't to accept it, that would be something that would be seen as untoward. It wouldn't be a news flash if Mississippi Valley State University didn't perform at the inauguration, because I didn't expect them to perform at the inauguration, much as how we expect sports teams to go to the White House. As far as the whole point about not everything is partisan, it didn't used to be. I can tell you that. It certainly didn't used to be. That is not the world that we're living in 2025. I mean, do you remember who performed at George W. Bush's inaugurations?
I don't recall.
Do you remember who performed at Bush Sr.'s inaugurations? Actually, I do. It was Nina Cherry, Paul Abdul, and Millie Vanilli. Nobody knows. Nobody knows because nobody cared, because we weren't in the environment that we're in right now.
I do love the environment.
Now, there was, of course, anytime we have conversations like this, is going to be a wide chasm of opinion. So I thought I would check out the other side of social media and just see exactly how long I could listen to it before I objected.
Mississippi Valley State University was just invited to Trump's inauguration to play for the entire world to hear. An HBCU. I mean, these kids been playing since they were probably little kids. These kids been playing instruments since 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade. And they're about to be on a world stage for Germany to hear them, Denmark to hear them, Africa can hear them, Australia's going to hear them. Everybody's going to be watching his inauguration, hearing these young black kids that grew up and dreamed of playing on a world stage for everybody to hear. This is one of the biggest stages they ever going to play on. And guess who's got a problem with it? Black people. Black people. Now, see, black people didn't have a problem when Kamala Harris had Beyonce paying her $10 million. Didn't have a problem paying Meg Thee Stallion millions of dollars.
How much are they getting paid, sir? Huh? How much is Mississippi Valley State getting paid? That's my question. Since you want to draw that equivalence, how much is their check? Huh? How many millions of dollars are they getting paid? And somehow I must have missed the Kamala Harris GoFundMe for Megan Thee Stallion. I didn't see that. Did y'all see the Kamala Harris GoFundMe to bring in Megan Thee Stallion?
It starts with a W, there's a letter in between, and then the last letter is F.
That is crazy. Well, obviously, that is such a nonsensical equivalence that he is trying to draw. Certainly, there won't be a ton of that.
So this is where the Democrats lose me every time. The Mississippi Valley State Band has been invited to play at the inauguration for Donald Trump. And you guys are all up in arms at it. No way, they shouldn't play at his inauguration. Yet you guys are all good with Megan Thee Stallion whipping her own ass, slapping her own ass at a Kamala Harris rally. Or Cardi B, the woman that rolled around on stage while she's saying WAP. And we all know what WAP stands for, don't we?
So let me get this straight. I gotta get this straight, because this right here really baffles me. Donald J. Trump invites Mississippi Valley to perform at his inauguration. But the other HBCUs are mad and upset at Mississippi Valley for accepting the invitation. But none of these other HBCUs was upset with Kamala Harris misrepresenting HBCUs when she went to HBCUs. Like she had Megan Thee Stallion on stage shaking her behind in front of trillions of people.
MAGA is more predictable than daycare closing at the first sign of snow. Next.
I have never met a more offended group of people than some ignorant. Mississippi Valley State College was invited to perform at Trump's inauguration. Why do y'all have a problem with that? Well, you would have had a problem with it if he didn't invite your black tail, didn't you? I see he got his white people supporter. He got him a white college to perform. That's what you would have said if it was a white college performing. But because it's a black college, black people are attacking the black people that are accepting the invite. Y'all are racist.
Okay, your point is well taken. We absolutely like representation. What we like more is funding and respect and support. So how about we make this trade? You let a white band perform there, and we won't say nothing if you don't work to the extermination of the institution at large. How about that? Is that a good trade? You leave intact the core legislation which allows us to continue to function and help us to support our institutions, and you can have a white band perform at inauguration and we won't say nothing. Deal?
So let me get this straight. DJT, aka Donald Jacquees Trump, invites the Mississippi Valley State Marching Band to come and perform at one of the most important moments in American history, his second inauguration. And these kids back here, who have been working their entire life for a moment like this, who have been praying for a moment like this level of exposure to be in the universe. Okay, this is easily going to be the most attended and most watched inauguration ever. And these kids are going to have the opportunity to perform for the world, to show their gifting to the world. And they're being told by people who look just like them that they are sellouts for doing so, and that they should scrap the entire idea. Like, imagine the audacity of somebody telling you that you should not be performing at one of the biggest events ever.
Okay, there was a whole lot of this too. Think of the exposure and all of that, which is true. That point is well taken. But just so I'm clear, if the point that you're making is that this event is so big to which none of the other stuff should matter, what you are conveying is that it will never matter then, because if the event allows you to gain notoriety and fame or whatever the case may be, then it doesn't matter where you perform. Is that what you're conveying? Like, it really doesn't matter. And I could rattle off some ideas off the top of my head. I won't, because I want to keep in the good graces of YouTube. But so what you're telling me is it don't matter what it is. If the event is big enough, you good. Yeah, we got a word for people like that.
Everybody love me.
I also gotta love that he questions the audacity of people to object. The same people that are being asked to support this trip have the audacity to object. That is crazy. I would love to know how you operate in other facets of your life. Can you believe I went to work today to pick up my check and they had the audacity on my way out to ask me if I was going to stay for my shift? I mean, were you on the schedule? Of course I was, but the audacity for them to even ask me something like that.
The story about Mississippi Valley State University's marching band going to DC to be part of Trump's inauguration is going viral for all the wrong reasons, and let me tell you why.
I'm sorry, is that a Blue Lives Matter shirt that you matched with a Blue Lives Matter hat? Okay, yeah. Let's move on. Let's go ahead and move on.
Mississippi Valley State University, congratulations. You were invited and accepted your invitation to the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. You are going to do amazing. We will be watching. The world will be watching. President Trump could have invited out of thousands and thousands of colleges around this country, colleges and universities. You were chosen. That's what you need to remember. Ignore these haters. I've seen the haters. Tariq Nasheed, I've seen the haters, the celebrities, the no names. I don't know who these people are. It does not even matter. You do you. You have an opportunity of a lifetime to be on the world stage. Everybody's going to see you perform. Those who are the haters, have you ever seen them show up at your university to give a speech, to be mentors, to donate money? Have they ever done that? Any of them? Screeching? Most of these people haven't even heard of Mississippi Valley State University before they knew that President Trump was going to invite you to the inauguration to perform and be part of this historic event. So they can go to hell or whatever they choose to do. But whatever it is, do not let them keep you from your blessing.
Now this one I love. This one I particularly love. So you called the people that are objecting to this ask for funds no names. No names. Then you have called out anybody who actually has shown up to the college, anybody that has given speeches, anybody that has mentored, anybody that has donated money, who actually objects to this. You have called them out. So therefore, you're apparently perfectly okay with existing purely at the mercy of MAGA and the people that will watch you perform, apparently. Because you want to throw everybody that has supported Mississippi Valley State up to this point under the bus. So your way forward is to trust Trump and his people, the ones that won't even bring you to the inauguration themselves. You want to trust Trump completely with your continued existence and survival. Okay, all right. Hey, she called it. That's what she wanted. Now here was one. I'm almost certain that those who don't have a problem with Mississippi Valley State performing for Trump's inauguration come from the same ilk that didn't have a problem with Ben Vereen's blackface performance at Ronald Reagan's inauguration. Let's just move on. I gotta pretend I didn't see that. We not doing that. We not doing that. Nah. Anybody got that Men in Black thing? Make me forget. Can I turn back the clock to 2024 before I sync that?